Sweet, Sweet Revenge, written by Lyn Denison, narrated by Gould. Chapter 1. Revenge is going to be so sweet. Clancy said the words aloud, and they echoed in the confines of her car as she headed along the highway. Really, really sweet. She hadn't formed a plan yet, but she would. The rational part of her, what was left of it, suggested she might be overreacting, but she refused to acknowledge that. She was still too angry. It ate away inside her like persistent indigestion. She sighed and glanced at the familiar scenery. She'd just passed a distinctive roadside letterbox, the Newtons' property, which meant she was about halfway home. Funny she would think of it as home. She hadn't lived in the town since her mother married for the third time, and they'd moved to Canberra. At 13, Clancy hadn't been given the choice to stay, but her older sister, Dell, had remained with a distant cousin so she could finish her school year, and her sister had never left. Another spurt of anger clutched at Clancy's stomach. Her anger consisted of many parts, but it all stemmed from the same place. She didn't need a shrink to tell her that. The common denominator was her mother, her 4 husbands, numerous boyfriends or lovers or whatever, and 3 children. Definitely in that order. Clancy was convinced about that. Her children came last. She thought about her elder sister. Dell was 4 years older than Clancy, and after high school had taken a job in the office of the largest car dealership in town. There she'd met her husband, John Worry, son of the owner of the business. Worry, as everyone called him, was a tall, rangy, easygoing guy and was one of the few men Clancy could say she actually liked. He loved Dell and their 3 kids and was well liked in the community. Unusual for a car salesman, Clancy thought wryly. She supposed she was relatively close to Dell, as close as 2 separated half-sisters could be. Not that she hadn't visited Dell and Worry when she was in Canberra. She had, when she could, but she'd moved around with her various jobs since she got her degree in graphic design. She'd been something of the proverbial rolling stone, work taking her to Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane and the Gold Coast. For the last 3 years, she'd made her home back in Canberra, and she'd started to convince herself it was home, a home she shared with Chelsea. That had pretty well imploded. So really, for the last year or so, Canberra had become more her
Sample complete. Ready to continue?